Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this very special edition of the Main Event Talk happening live as it happens here on YouTube. We are hours away from WWE Evolution taking place this Sunday. You have to apologize. I'm a little bit sick. I was trying to do an episode of the Main Event Talk the other day, but I couldn't do it because I had some things I had to take care of. But I'm trying, as you can tell, I'm a bit sick right now, but I'm trying to recover and everything else like that. And as I mentioned earlier, Evolution is tonight. It's going to take place live on the WWE Network, and the main event player is going to be looking forward to checking that event out as well. But before this episode is entitled "The Crown Jewel of Evolution," which basically the title of it pretty much speaks for itself. I want to talk about obviously about WWE Evolution, but I also wanted to talk about the Crown Jewel event itself because there's been a lot of people that have been waiting for that shit to be canceled. It didn't happen, and now all of a sudden, we're gonna go through what we got to go through with. So I want to go ahead and talk about that. So I was doing an episode of this same venture earlier, but I did it on Facebook. I did it on there, and I wanted everyone to check that out as well. So if you get a chance, go to facebook.com/, at Real Main Event Talk, and you'll be able to see the full episode. Well, actually, it's a part one, part two episode because I couldn't, put the entire thing together and everything. So, unlike this, I mean, this is actually live. I don't know how many people are going to actually be looking forward to checking this episode out because, it's not often I get a chance to do an episode of the Main Event Talk live. And when I do, I either get viewers or I don't get viewers. And it's probably okay that I don't get viewers right now because I'm just trying to keep it as full and as great as possible. And for me to finally maybe get away with trying to get the entire episode of the Main Event Talk without being disrupted in any way. So before we talk about WWE Evolution, before we talk about the Crown Jewel, I wanted to talk about the whole thing that happened with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. This whole thing with what happened with Roman Reigns. If you had an opportunity to check out my episode of the Main Event Talk that happened about Roman Reigns and also what happened on Facebook, I talked about pretty much the fact that Roman Reigns had leukemia, which was very, very sad. And then on a night when it's supposed to be about Roman Reigns, it ended up being, well, pretty much, to some people's eyes, it was a disaster because Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins won the tag team titles. They won it, and it should be a night of celebration. But instead, Dean Ambrose went ahead and turned heel and basically turned on Seth Rollins. Now, my opinion on it is it couldn't happen at a better time. I'm sorry, it couldn't happen at a better time because I always like it when someone turns heel and it's a surprise and nobody sees it coming. So before we talk about that, let me talk about the first time. I think I did an episode of the Main Event Talk right here on YouTube when I was talking about what Seth Rollins did. And I mentioned that it was a surprise, but it was also great that Seth Rollins had turned on his brothers. Because in most heel turns, I always like to see a heel turn that happens when nobody sees it coming. And I like that because when nobody sees it coming, that's usually the big surprise. And that's usually something I always like to see in most heel turns, especially what happened with Dean Ambrose. So with Seth Rollins, when he did his heel turn, it was a surprise. Years ago, I remember when everybody wanted the Shield to break up, and everybody wanted Dean Ambrose to be the one to turn against his brothers, the Shield. It didn't end up being him. It ended up being Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the one that did it. It was just a big surprise. Nobody saw it coming, and ever since then, Seth Rollins had become one of the best heels in the history of WWE, and now he's the babyface, and now he's becoming one of the biggest baby faces in WWE right now as we speak. So Dean Ambrose at that time, when Seth Rollins did his heel turn, was one big baby face. But technically, he wasn't really a baby face or a heel. Dean Ambrose was being Ambrose, you know. And now with this heel turn happening, when Dean Ambrose did what he did it at a point when everyone was talking about Roman Reigns and his leukemia. At a point where everyone was talking about them winning the tag team title, which they did deserve. And then for Dean Ambrose to turn heel on Seth Rollins while they're the tag team champions now is even brilliant because now Seth Rollins has to put up with a heel Dean Ambrose, which was good, which is great, and I love it. Especially when nobody saw it coming. And here's the thing, to anyone that believes, that if you think Dean Ambrose, if you saw Dean Ambrose's heel turn on that night, on that particular night, you're full of shit, okay? You're fucking lying and you know it. Because nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw it coming at all. It was brilliant. It was done right. And it needed to be done at a point where, Roman Reigns is out of the picture and, he has leukemia and there's really nothing, nothing anybody can do about it. And they had to do it on that night because nobody saw it coming. And that is the best way to turn someone heel. Do it when no one sees it coming. And Dean Ambrose did a tremendous job, and I commend that. And now, with Dean Ambrose turning heel, what's next? What's going to happen? I've been speaking to a lot of people. I've been looking through my Facebook and my Twitter and my Instagram, and that the possibility of a Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, oddly enough, for the Universal Championship, man, that could... I actually like that idea if I think about it, because, let's see, and I'm kind of putting this scenario in my head. I had mentioned months ago that when the Royal Rumble comes in 2019, I'm picking Dean Ambrose. I'm picking Seth Rollins to win this next Royal Rumble. I'm actually picking him to be the one to win the Royal Rumble 2019 and move on to WrestleMania. Now, I don't see Seth Rollins going after the WWE Championship because that's already happened. If you wanted to do that, it'd be great. But if, let's see, if Dean Ambrose somehow finds a way to become the Universal Champion and move over to, say, WrestleMania and still be the champion, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. That should be tremendous. That should be great. And I think a lot of people should dig that. But we'll see where this goes right now, because at this point, I am jumping ahead of all this whole thing, but I'm just giving you my prediction, my idea as to what I think, and I know other people will like that idea as well, seeing Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose in the main event of WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. Like I said, if that's coming, that's just a prediction right now at this point. But nonetheless, I agree with the whole Seth Rollins. I agree with the whole Dean Ambrose turning heel. I like where this is going. And I like to see who they relinquish the titles to, and how far this feud between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will go. Because this feud was about... These two had a feud before when Seth Rollins was the heel. Now, it's Dean Ambrose's turn, and now we could see something different. I know everyone has wanted to see Dean Ambrose turn heel. And, well, you got it. And if you start complaining... as one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, James Storm would say, sorry about your damn luck, because you're stuck with it, okay? Got myself a little bit of drink right now, trying to get myself in order right now. So, let's talk about the Universal Championship at this point. Let's talk about Crown Jewel. Let's talk about that for a moment, because everyone has been talking about this whole thing with Crown Jewel, about it being canceled and everything. But before I talk about the actual event and everything, let's talk about Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about the first event that took place over in Saudi Arabia several months ago. When they did the greatest Royal Rumble ever, first of all, I think it should be ridiculous that they have it at Saudi Arabia. I think it's even more ridiculous that they should have put the greatest Royal Rumble on the Royal Rumble event itself. Now you have two winners of the Royal Rumble, which, it's kind of confusing in every way possible, but we'll see how far this goes, okay? But anyways, It was a great event. I digged it. 50 superstars. That's the biggest in Royal Rumble history. And I love it. I dig it. So now that the event was over, then they announced Crown Jewel. Now they had an event called Super Showdown, which took place between The Undertaker and Triple H. That ended in controversy. No surprise there. And now we got this whole thing where Crown Jewel is being announced and it's going to take place over in Saudi Arabia once again. And I was very skeptical, and I know everybody was probably skeptical as well, as to why the event has to take place over in Saudi Arabia. I mean, why couldn't this event take place over in, say, England, or why couldn't it go back to Melbourne, or why couldn't it be any place other than Saudi Arabia? Why? Well, they went ahead and advertised it, and I thought they were going to go through with it. But then there was a political issue with this whole situation. I mean, this whole thing with Crown Jewel, it seemed like it was on. Now it's not on. Now they're going to change the dates, and they're going to move it to another time, and all this. The WWE Universe wants to see Crown Jewel move to a different spot. And to me, I agree with that, but I doubt WWE would do it. Because they had already advertised this. They already said it. They already put the matches together. And if they try to move it, it would be bad for business. And it would be really bad if they try to cancel it. If they try to cancel the event, then they're stuck at a point where they cancel it, they lose a lot of money, they lose a lot of advertisement, and then they would have to move it to another spot, which, unfortunately, WWE is not going to do that. It's not going to happen. No way, no how. They're stuck with it. So then, as announced this past Wednesday, WWE Crown Jewel will go as scheduled over in Saudi Arabia. And, well, we're going to have the matches that are going to take place there at WWE Crown Jewel. The match between Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction, that's going to still go on. And also, for the WWE Championship, the phenomenal AJ Styles will defend the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. And then, of course, the Universal Championship matchup, that has been changed as well. Because it was once a triple threat match, the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Braun Strowman. But due to the fact that Roman Reigns has leukemia and he will not be able to participate in the triple threat match, it has now become a one-on-one match, and which it should be. Now, I want to talk about the Universal Championship at Crown Jewel. I want to talk about how the fact that there's a lot of people that just, oh God, everybody is talking about the same fucking thing, man. I mean, okay. Let's review this whole situation, okay? Roman Reigns has leukemia, and he's kicked out of, well, he's not kicked out, but he's basically pulled out of the triple threat match, and now it just leaves these two. Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, vacated Universal Championship. Now, the smart thing to do, you're listening, the smart thing to do is to put the Universal Championship on the line, and the two competitors that are in there will go one-on-one. That is a brilliant idea. Make Finn Balor a part of the triple of this match, and it doesn't make any sort of sense at all. Because then you would have to put Finn Balor in a title match, in a number one contenders match or something like that, or to fill the third slot in the triple threat match for the Universal Championship. Which, I know everybody wants Finn Balor to become the Universal Champion. I want him to be champion too. But it's got to be done right. You can't just go ahead and just add him on there just because you guys want him. Okay? Here's the thing. All of us want to see Finn Balor become Universal Champion in the near future. Now's not the time. Okay? And plus, Finn Balor up against Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. Are you fucking kidding me? You got a beast and you got the monster among men. And you put Finn Balor in the middle of it, putting a piece of ham in the middle of two big pieces of loaf of bread. Are you out of your fucking mind? Have you lost your senses? Give me a fucking break. So, we're sticking with the Universal Championship matchup. We're sticking with the one-on-one match between Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. That's going to happen. And let me also add one thing. This match is the match we all wanted to see. That's the truth. Think about it. This match should have taken place at WrestleMania 34. Not Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. That should have never happened as far as I'm concerned, because even though Roman Reigns put up a good fight and did what he did, he didn't walk away the Universal Champion. To me, if that championship matchup did not take place with Roman Reigns and took place with Braun Strowman, he should be Universal Champion right now. We can disagree with it, we can agree with it, but one thing's for certain, that's my opinion, that's my thought, that's how it goes. If you agree with it, that's cool. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. It don't matter. The point is, we're going to finally get it. So, at Crown Jewel, for the vacated Universal Championship, it'll be the match we've all wanted to see at WrestleMania 34. Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Whoever wins becomes the Universal Champion. Now, who do I pick to win? Obvious. Just like everyone else. Braun Strowman. And I know most people would probably think I would go for Brock Lesnar. Now, I don't see anything wrong with Brock Lesnar winning it, but then it's going to be back to the same old, Brock Lesnar has the title. He's not going to defend it on Raw. We need to see the Universal title back on Raw more than anything in the world. And I agree with that, so we all need to pull for Braun Strowman as much as we can. We need to pull for him because he needs to be the man to take the title away from Brock Lesnar. He needs to be the man to hold on to the title. And if Braun Strowman does win the title, and if it does happen, and I think this is starting to slip a little bit. Yep, it is. It's been slipping for the past few hours. If it happens, if Braun Strowman somehow manages to win the Universal Championship at Crown Jewel, then his next title defense, his first title defense actually, should be against, you ready for this? Some people will agree upon it, some people will not agree upon it. I think it should be against Drew McIntyre. Yep, I said it. Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship. I agree with that. It fits perfectly. It's right. And also, we're giving someone else the opportunity at the Universal Championship. Other than Braun Strowman, other than Brock Lesnar, other than Roman Reigns, other than Kevin Owens, and everything else. We're giving a different person a chance at the title, and that should be great. So, we'll see what happens. At Crown Jewel, as I said, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, the winner to become the new Universal Champion at Crown Jewel, taking place over in Saudi Arabia. And I hope we don't ever see WWE at Saudi Arabia ever again. And if we do, I am moving out of Texas and I'm heading to California and I'm living there for the rest of my fucking life. No, that's not going to happen. Actually, I'd rather go to Stamford, Connecticut. Why? So that way I can find a way to bomb the hell out of WWE saying, you fucked up! You sent your WWE superstar to Saudi Arabia and you fucked all this shit up, man. What the hell are you thinking? But anyways, let's see. Besides Crown Jewel, besides the matchup that's take place, let's talk about... there's one thing we got to talk about before we get to WWE Evolution. We got to talk about the World Cup. We got... You know what? I need a drink for this. Excuse me. I wish this was a beer. I wish this was. Actually, I wish this had like some Crown on it or something like that. You know, just so I could feel a little bit better in the morning. But anyways, let's talk about the World Cup. Let's talk about the ever famous World Cup of WWE. in all the years of World Cup. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. I remember the World Cup. Yeah, you remember the World Cup. It's a soccer game, isn't it? Yes, that's what it is. It's a soccer game. It's not really a soccer game when you think about it. I mean, well, anytime when you hear something about the World Cup, it's usually about soccer. That's what it is. Now, when it's the World Cup of wrestling, that's a different story, okay? I've heard of the World Cup of wrestling back when WCW was around and New Japan Pro Wrestling, it took it over, and then all this other stuff. And then there was the X World Cup, or the World Cup of X, or X World Cup, or however the fuck that shit goes. That was brilliant. And you know what was so good about all of these different types of World Cups? It actually involved the world. You had someone from the United States. You had someone from Australia. Someone from Russia. Someone from Africa. Someone from Canada. Someone from Russia. Someone from Germany. Someone from Japan. Someone from New England. England, if you will. Someone from Austria. And all sorts of other places around the world. That is what you call World Cup. The WWE's version of the World Cup is quite honestly the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my fucking life, and I would appreciate it if you changed the World Cup into something other than this bloody Cup of United States. Because that's what it is. I mean, it's not a World Cup. It has not been a World Cup yet. I mean, golly. I mean, for the first time ever, Crown Jewel is a good pay-per-view, but it's one that doesn't make any fucking sense, especially when you have the World Cup that it consists of, well, until we find out who it is, John Cena, because he's out, but let's see, Jeff Hardy's in it, Randy Orton's in it, Kurt Angle's in it, Rey Mysterio's in it, there's the Miz. Oh, God, the Miz. Why would you add that guy to the World Cup? Holy crap! It just makes it even more worse than it already is. But Randy Orton, right? He's in it? Yeah, there's... the funny thing about this World Cup is it's not even a World Cup. It should be the World United States Cup of Wrestling. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be anything else other than that. I mean, fuck. I mean, can you come up with here's the thing, WWE. If you wanted to put the World Cup of Wrestling, if you wanted to put that together, if you wanted to make it a World Cup, make it a World Cup. You know how you make it a World Cup? Let me tell you how you make it a World Cup. Let's see. Let's for the sake of argument, let's eliminate all these people. The Kurt Angles, the Jeff Hardys, and Randy Orton, and John Cena. He didn't count anyway. And everyone else. Get them out. Let's start all over, okay? Let's start from scratch, all right? Let's put some people in there. Let's put the list down. We'll put it in front here. Okay. I think we should put back Kurt Angle. Yes, I think we should put him because he represents the United States. He's also an Olympic gold medalist. That would work. Now, if I wanted to add a second American in there, I would say it's tough, but I'm actually going to take... Oh, man, that's tough. Jeff Hardy. Let's add him. Let's put Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy in there. Let's put that in there. Now, if I want to add someone else in the World Cup, how about Shinsuke Nakamura? Add him to the World Cup. Come on! Add him on there, okay? That's 3. Now, and let's, for the sake of argument, add Rey Mysterio. You know why? Because even though he's from San Diego, California, he's originally from Mexico. So therefore, you got a Mexican involved in the World Cup. So you got a Mexican, you got a Japanese, you got 2 Americans. It's looking good so far. How about, let's add Rusev. Yes, let's add Rusev. Okay, put Rusev in the fucking World Cup. Put him in there. Now it's looking like a damn World Cup. That's what we're looking for. These individuals. Okay, now let's add Sheamus. Yes. Let's add Sheamus to it. Add Sheamus to the World Cup. That will work perfectly. Now, 2 more people left. Okay. Let's add let's add some NXT flavor to it. Yes. How about NXT UK? How about Pete Dunne? Put him in there. Yes. That works out perfectly. Nice. So far you got yourself a damn World Cup. That's how it goes. Now, the last person. Who should we add to this World Cup, as far as I'm concerned? Oh, that. Let's say, for the sake of argument, let's make it NXT, okay? And I think a lot of people would like to add this person on as well, and I think I'd like to add him as well. How about for the eighth and final person would be from NXT, and the man who just found out that Johnny Gargano had a lot to do with his attack, Aleister Black. And I pick Aleister Black to win the World Cup. Yeah, I would pick Aleister Black to win the World Cup if he was a part of... If this was the World Cup. If this was Aleister Black, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, Rusev, Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kurt Angle, and Jeff Hardy. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my version of the World Cup. That's who should be a part of it. And that is how, and this camera has been moving for the past few minutes and it hasn't stayed still yet. So, that's my version of the World Cup, and I know all of you have your version of the World Cup. If you want to comment on this video and put it together, go right ahead, tell me what you think, and see how it goes. As far as I'm concerned about this World Cup, I'm picking Rey Mysterio to win. Because if he wins it, if he wins the World Cup, it will be the World Cup because someone from Mexico actually won a World Cup. And it would be something we would all like to watch, if that happens. Okay, let's talk about WWE Evolution. Let's talk about the pay-per-view. Now, I have never mentioned this on my YouTube show. I've mentioned it on my Talk Facebook page that the Evolution name should change. I think it should change completely. That's it for that drink. Okay, I think the name should change, but unfortunately there's nothing we can do about it, so therefore we're sticking with the Evolution name. We're sticking with the name, obviously. That's how it's going to go. So let's talk about the original main event that took place. Well, actually, I don't know what the actual main event's going to be for this pay-per-view. So let's talk about Trish Stratus versus Trish Stratus versus Alexa Bliss. The match that was supposed to have happened at WWE Evolution. My first thought of that match was, are you fucking kidding me? You think anyone really is going to see this matchup? You're talking about a woman, a great women's champion in Alexa Bliss, held the SmackDown Women's title, held the Raw Women's Championship, but in my view, she's a great woman, she's a great wrestler, but she hasn't proven anything yet, in my view. And Trish Stratus, who has proven all doubters wrong, and a lot of people wrong, a 7-time women's champion, right? 7-time women's champion, a Hall of Famer, and we all knew eventually that Trish Stratus is going to come back. And now she comes in to WWE Evolution, at first, against Alexa Bliss. Now, to the opinions of others, they all thought it should be it should be Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks. And the only reason why they want to see that matchup is because of their confrontation that took place over at the Royal Rumble. So now, that's out the window. And to me, personally, in my opinion, Sasha versus Trish is, sounds great. I dig it. I love it. That's a great main event match for you. But you know what would be even better? Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair. I mean, who better to face Trish Stratus than Charlotte Flair? Why not? Think about it. Both women are 7-time women's champions. Both women are very, very respectful in their eras. Trish Stratus representing the Attitude Era, and then, of course, Charlotte representing this modern-day era in WWE. And I don't see any reason why these two women should not clash. And if you think about it, Charlotte unquestionably is truly, whether anybody agrees with me or not, one of the best women wrestlers in the history of the WWE. I know there's other people that will put Becky Lynch in front, but I'll speak to that in a minute. But like Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair because it sounds better. It sounds better in the marquee, and it looks good on paper, and no doubt these two would probably have a tremendous match if it ever took place at WWE Evolution. But that's not going to happen, and that's probably never going to happen unless something changes. But nonetheless, we now know that there was a change in the whole thing. It was first Trish Stratus versus Alexa Bliss, and then on Raw they changed it up by making it a tag match. But who were the other two individuals? I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about the other matchup that was supposed to have taken place also at Evolution. A match that has already happened before. Damn, that's loud. Anyways, the other match that took place over at WWE Evolution. Lita versus Mickie James. Now, my opinion on Mickie James versus Lita at WWE Evolution goes a little something like this. Been there, done that, moving on, okay? And let me explain why. Number one, we've already seen this matchup. Number two, we don't need to see it again. And number three, well, this should pick up about what happened and this should be the way for Lita to end. No! I think Lita should have had a match with Asuka. In my opinion, and in your opinion. Some of you may agree with it, some of you may not. So now what do? They mixed up the whole thing and sort of made it a little bit better. So instead of having these two singles matches, they combined it together to make it a tag match, which was great. I mean, I liked it. I think this is probably just a little bit better. So you got Trish Stratus and Lita, two women that represent the Attitude Era, against two women that represent this era in WWE, in Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. That took place, and that's going to happen at WWE Evolution this coming Sunday. Oh, wait a minute. Breaking news. Oh, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking fucking news. Yes. Alexa Bliss has suffered a concussion and will not be able to compete in this fine tag match that's going to take place at WWE Evolution. So replacing Alexa Bliss will be a woman who has had her ass kicked many times. One of my favorites. Beautiful, gorgeous, hot, crazy. And now it's crazy enough to end her in this matchup. So at WWE Evolution, it's going to be the women of the Attitude Era, Trish Stratus and Lita, in a tag match against Mickie James and Alicia Fox. Oh, and it gets better. Alexa Bliss will be in the corner of Alicia Fox and Mickie James this Sunday at Evolution. Do you smell conspiracy? Do you smell a bad idea? Do you smell something that's completely fucking wrong with this situation? Now, there's always this old saying, never sell a rib. And I believe that. And in this case, even though the reports say that she's injured in every way possible, I don't believe it. I really don't. I don't think anybody else should believe it. You can believe the initial reports and everything else like that, but if she was really injured and she was really hurt, first of all, you need to stay the fuck away from the matches. Be backstage. Stay there. Chill out. Relax. Don't do a fucking thing. If you end up getting physically involved, you could get more hurt than you already are right now, Alexa. But if you're going to be involved, fine. But here's what I think about it. Here's how I think about it. I see this as if Alexa Bliss gets involved physically in the matchup, we know her injury was a fake. And that's going to be bad on her. And that's going to be bad on the WWE. Because they blew away this opportunity to have Trish versus Alexa to take place. And now, and I think this is the truth whether anybody likes it or not, I think a lot of people would like to see Trish Stratus versus Alexa Bliss because we want to see how this matchup ends. And I think that's the plan. I think they want to try to scatter away from it at WWE Evolution and then make it something worth watching. Alexa Bliss versus Trish. That needs to happen now, more than ever. As much as I'd love to not see this matchup, I think we all would like to see it. So, if Alexa Bliss gets involved physically, we know she faked it. We know it was full of shit. But if Alexa, she's going to get involved one way or another, but if she doesn't get physically involved, then her injury was legit. We believe her, and we're not going to judge that anymore. And then hopefully Alexa Bliss will come back better and then go after Trish Stratus in the near future if that ever comes up. This camera keeps moving around like fucking crazy. But, so that's what's going to happen at Evolution. It's going to be Trish Stratus and Lita to take on Alicia Fox and Mickie James with Alexa Bliss in her corner. We'll see how far this goes out at WWE Evolution tonight. Let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship matchup. Let's talk about that matchup between Ronda Rousey defending her Women's Championship against Nikki Bella. What's there to talk about? Other than the fact that Ronda Rousey put out a badass promo basically talking about John Cena right in front of Nikki Bella, and that was just one of the best promos I've seen in like a long time. And this was good in Ronda Rousey's part. I mean, I know a lot of people don't exactly like Ronda these days, especially with her being women's champion, but that promo really cut it right to the bone and got real personal and got as real as it could possibly get, and I dig that, and I love it so much. And here's the thing, I whether anybody likes it or not, I want Ronda Rousey to hold on that title for as long as she can. Because Nikki Bella, as far as I'm concerned, she was just placed in a title match, okay? She was just placed there, okay? And here's also another thing. This is me talking. I love Nikki Bella. I think she's got the finest ass I've ever seen next to Naomi. And she's, unquestionably one of the hottest women in WWE. But I don't believe in the story of her and John Cena. I don't. I don't give a rat's ass what they're separated. They're singles. Nikki can do whatever the fuck she wants. Let me tell you something. Nikki and John Cena are like all of us. Yes, all of us. Because we all end up in these ridiculous relationships. We say we broke up, but then we end up having sex in bed the next day. We get back together. Then we have another fight a couple of weeks later. Then we end up not talking with each other, not speaking to each other. We end up arguing with each other. Then before you know it, we end up in the sack, having the greatest sex of our fucking life. And then we say, I'll see you tomorrow, baby. That is how it fucking goes, okay? Nikki Bella, you can lie to us all you want to about the fact that you're not talking to John Cena. And John Cena, you can lie to us too. But we're wrestling fans. But not only we're wrestling fans, we're your relationship psychologists. That's who we are. We know what the fuck you're doing, okay? You can hide from the social media. You can hide from the press. You can hide from all the newsworthy people. But you will never hide from us. You know why? Because we will know the truth. Nikki Bella can say she's single, but she's full of shit. John Cena can say she's single, but he's full of shit. The bottom line is, they're going to end up together again. And when it happens, we're going to look back. We're going to sit back with our fucking cups in our hands. We will look and we'll drink and, yeah, they're back together, huh? Yeah, fucking bastards. See, I told you they got back together. Shit, John Cena's got a big dick and Nikki wanted something big and oh, she got it. Jesus Christ. Come on, give me a damn break. I mean, nobody's fooling with this. All right, so as far as they're back together somehow. I don't know how. I haven't heard the news yet. I don't believe in the news anymore, okay? Ever since Donald Trump became president, he just made up a bunch of lies and just made us like, oh, crap, really? That's what fucking happened? Damn! I had no fucking idea. So Nikki Bella will not beat Ronda Rousey. It ain't gonna happen. Ronda Rousey will kick her ass. It'll be done. Square away, hand down. I'm out the fucking window. Let's talk about the other title match that's going to take place. The SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair. Arguably one of the best matches that are going to take place at Evolution. And I am really looking forward to seeing how this matchup goes. Becky Lynch this is the best that Becky Lynch has been in a long, long time. Ever since SummerSlam, when I mentioned on my Facebook that if Charlotte Flair were to win the SmackDown Women's Championship, everyone's expecting a heel turn to happen, but who? I picked Becky Lynch. Because I don't see Carmella doing anything because, that's already been done. Becky Lynch is the only person that's going to go ahead and turn on Charlotte Flair. I see that happening. It happened right there at SummerSlam. Everyone was enjoying it. Everyone was loving it. Everyone was digging it. And then all that was left was for her to win back the SmackDown Women's Championship, and that happened at Hell in a Cell. And when she won it back, Charlotte tried to extend her hand out. Becky did what only a heel could, said, "Fuck off, I'm the champ, I'm out of here." And that's exactly what happened. And this feud between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch is such a tremendous feud. I love how far this is going. And for the last woman standing to take place, man, it's going to be great. And to me, I'm gonna actually go with Becky Lynch on this one. If the feud goes as far as it can, I see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Maybe this feud will end right here, and Becky Lynch will win the title. But I actually see these two facing off against each other one more time. But at WrestleMania, if it takes place, so I'm going with Becky Lynch on this one. If it were to become Charlotte, then the feud between Becky Lynch and Charlotte would probably end at Survivor Series, or maybe at either TLC or Night of Champions, or Clash of Champions. I'm sorry. Either way, I'd like to. I like to. I'm going with Becky Lynch. If it ends up being Charlotte, the feud will end shortly thereafter. You know what I mean? It may end that way. So I'm going to go with Becky Lynch on this one in the SmackDown Women's Championship division. Let's talk about the NXT Championship. That's going to be also another badass matchup that everyone's going to be looking forward to. Shayna Baszler going after the NXT Women's Champion, Kairi Sane. And I am so interested in this feud between these two, because ever since the Mae Young Classic that happened last year, I actually picked Shayna Baszler over Kairi Sane because, you know, Shayna Baszler to me is the next woman to become the next NXT star and the next woman to be moved up to the main roster as quickly as possible. And even though she lost to Kairi Sane at the 2017 Mae Young Classic, Shayna Baszler made a huge name for herself at NXT, and she did extremely well for herself. Not only, you know, kicking ass and taking names, but she became the NXT Women's Champion, and she became one hell of a champion, and everyone loved her for that. And then, of course, she lost the championship over at NXT Takeover at Brooklyn, New York. Um, Once it happened, I mean, I was kind of surprised. I really thought Shayna Baszler was going to win it, and I thought she was going to be able to hold on to the title for as long as she could. And then all of a sudden, Kairi Sane wins the title. It's hers. I mean, she's been champion since, I believe, August, right? It's been August. We're on October. We're heading towards November. So tonight, I'm hoping that Shayna Baszler gain her title back, and that if it happens, I'd like to see this feud escalate into possibly another NXT takeover, maybe at War Games or maybe next year. Either way possible, this matchup between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler is going to be a tremendous matchup. So I'm going with Shayna Baszler in this one. This is going to be great. I can't wait. The NXT Championship. I'm so glad that some of the women of NXT are going to be a part of Evolution, because that needed to happen. The Raw women's, the women from Raw, the women from SmackDown, and the women from NXT definitely need to be a part of this. Okay. Now, I'm not going to give you my thoughts on the six women tag team match. No, you know why? Because I'm picking the Riot Squad to win over Natalya, over Sasha Banks, and over Bayley. There's no point in talking about that, because that's probably the only match really, you know, everyone's going to want that match. Everyone's going to like that match. But then at the end, they all just want it to end. And they all just want the Riot Squad to win, hands down. That's how it goes. Now, the winner. Who's going to win this year's 2018 Mae Young Classic between Toni Storm and Shira Iowa? I can't pronounce her name. It's in Japanese. My apologies for that. But if I were to pick a winner in this one, I would like to go with Toni Storm in this one, because I really think that last year she didn't do so well, but this year she did a hell of a lot better, and she's going to be able to win it this year. And if she wins it this year, this will be a tremendous goal for her, and no doubt she'll probably go to NXT, and no doubt she'll probably achieve greatness over there, and then head over to the main roster in the near future when it happens. As far as um, Shira Ona, I think that's her name goes. As far as she goes, I hope I see big things for her as well. I've seen how she wrestles. I've seen what she's done, and she's tremendous as well. Both women deserve to be in this in the finals. Both women deserve to put on a great show. And like I said, I'm going with Toni Storm in this one. I hope she wins it. And if the other one wins it, well, we'll see how it happens at WWE Evolution tonight on the WWE Network. And let's see. All the matches have taken place, and all that's left is the Battle Royal between all the women of SmackDown, all the women of Raw, possibly some of the women of NXT, if possible, and some legends are going to be there as well, from Michelle McCool, Kelly Kelly, I think Alundra Blaze, or Medusa, whoever we get, whichever comes first. That's going to be something special to look forward to. I can't wait for that. And also, this is my opinion, and people have been posting their stuff out on YouTube and Twitter and everything else to see. I'd like to see some surprises to take place over at Evolution. I'd like to see someone like maybe AJ Lee to appear before us. Surprise the living hell out of us. Or how about Karma? How about her to make an appearance? I mean, can you imagine? Well, Awesome Kong to all of you. Can you imagine her face to face with Nia Jax? I mean, holy shit, that would be something badass to look forward to. How about, here's something that nobody really ever thinks. How about some of the past women in WCW, or maybe some of the past women in TNA, like Christy Hemme? What happens if she appears there? Or how about Ashley? Or Melina? How about her? Let me think of a few. Oh, and this is just me speculating. I don't think it'll happen. What happens if ODB makes an appearance? Holy fuck. And this phone has been moving like crazy for the past few hours, and it needs to stop, okay? But anyways, man, I mean, one thing's for certain. This Battle Royal is going to be interesting. I don't know who's going to win it. I'm very, very interested as to who is going to win the Battle Royal this year, the Women's Battle Royal. And the winner will get an opportunity at a championship of their choice, whether it's the SmackDown Women's Championship or the Raw Women's Championship. Or to me, if you want to go after the NXT Women's Championship, do that too. Add that too. I don't care. I'd love to see a woman from Raw or SmackDown go after the NXT Championship, NXT Women's Championship. That's my opinion. That's my thoughts. Now also, and this is something that's not going to appear at the WWE Evolution pay-per-view, but I think it should happen. But I got to agree with some of the people that have been telling me about this thing. I know a lot of people wanted to see the women of WWE get their hands on some tag team gold. And I know a lot of people would like to see the women of WWE get tag team gold. But when you think about it, I mean, how many titles, how many championships is the WWE going to have? I mean, on Raw, you got the Universal title, Women's title, Intercontinental title, tag team titles. On Raw and SmackDown, you got the WWE Championship, United States Championship, tag team gold. There's the Cruiserweight division. They got their own titles. NXT has got the North American Championship, the NXT title, the Women's Championship, the tag team titles. What are the women going to have? I mean, how are they going to be able to get tag team gold? Seriously. This is just my opinion. This is just my thought. And I don't know if anyone agrees with this or not, but you know how WWE has Raw, they have SmackDown, they have NXT, they have 205 Live, right? The women have had a lot. They've had their first pay-per-view on the Royal Rumble. They've had the first Hell in a Cell. They've had their first Steel Cage. They've had their first everything. They're even having their first pay-per-view, all women's. And for the record, this is WWE's first all-women's pay-per-view for them. It's not the first all-women's pay-per-view in general. What about Ring of Honor? They've done something like that before. How about TNA Wrestling? They've done that, or Impact Wrestling, if you will. My apologies. My language. Sorry. What about that? This will not be the first time. This will not be the first time that the women's evolution has gone on pay per view. This will be the first time that WWE has done it. It'll be acknowledged. It'll be shown. It won't be the first. But nonetheless, it's going to happen. But one way or another, and I'm saying this because I can. What if the WWE decides to have their own evolution show? 1 hour show based on the women of Raw, women of SmackDown, and the women of WWE NXT. And to make it interesting, why not add some tag team titles on that show? WWE, if you're listening, if you're watching this, how about you give the women an opportunity to have their own show on the WWE Network? Yeah, have their own show featuring the Raw superstars, the SmackDown superstars, and the NXT superstars. Get them all together in one show. They don't have to appear on Raw. They don't have to appear on SmackDown. They could just appear on one show. That's it. I'm not talking about a pay-per-view. I'm talking about a show featuring the women of the WWE. That's just an opinion. That's just a thought. If you like it, put it out for everyone to listen. Not my apologies, okay? But nonetheless, guys, WWE Evolution is taking place tonight on the WWE Network. When you get an opportunity, go ahead and stream it live. Go to the WWE Network on your app. I already got it all set on my TV and on my phone and everything else like that, so I'm prepared to watch it. And I think this... Oh, man, this every time I mess with my camera, mess with my stuff, it always seems to move. You can tell it's been moving around the past few minutes every time I talk. But anyways, WWE Evolution, guys, is taking place tonight on the WWE Network. No doubt the Countdown show is going to be great. Oh, and I also wanted to talk about the panel. Originally, I was hoping for Michael Cole to be a part with Beth Phoenix and Renee Young. But now it's going to be Renee Young, Beth Phoenix, and SmackDown General Manager Paige. She's going to be a part of it as well. And the main event, cannot wait for that. And it's a great panel, you know. And I guess none of the men are going to take part in this WWE pay-per-view. Which is okay because it's an all-women pay-per-view. Let the women come in and take over. Let them do what they have to do. Let the women show the men that they can do more than women. And I'll say this from a personal standpoint. Years ago, I didn't think women can do shit. That's the truth. This was years ago. But then a woman who became a close friend of mine kind of proved me wrong in so many ways, and I understood that most women can do more than what the men can do. And ever since then, I mean, if you look at the way everything has evolved with the women of today, women can do a lot more than men. But yeah, I'm not saying that the women are way better than the men. Women have their mistakes too, just like men. That's the truth. But nonetheless, today's the day. Today's Women's Day, and it's all about all of the women, all of the hotties, all of the women we dig. It's your day, guys. WWE Evolution is tonight, only on the WWE Network, and you can see it on pay-per-view as well. I know they won't say that on the WWE Network, but I have to do it because I have to be an advertiser no matter what. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I'm going to prepare myself for what I got to see at WWE Evolution. So if you guys want to check out the full version of my Main Event Talk, you can go over to my Main Event Talk Facebook page at facebook.com/@MainEventPlayer, or Main Event Talk, I'm sorry. You can also follow me on Instagram. I plan on putting a 10-minute episode of the Main Event Talk also. So that's going to take place as well. So, before I leave, don't forget to check out WWE Crown Jewel that's going to take place, even though I hope it's only the one time, November 2nd, Friday, live only on the WWE Network. Check out WWE Evolution taking place tonight here on the WWE Network. It's going to be tremendous. I can't wait. I think the Countdown show will probably start maybe about 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, depending on where you're at. Thought I heard my phone ring. But anyways, don't forget to check out Evolution taking place tonight at the WWE Network. Check out Raw coming up this Monday. Halloween is coming this Wednesday, I believe. Yeah. I wonder if I'm going to be doing the Main Event Talk around Halloween. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. And I'm thinking about it, not just for the YouTube right now, but I'm also thinking about it for my Facebook page on my Main Event Talk Facebook page. Halloween, this coming Wednesday. Halloween, Halloween Havoc. I just got an inspiration. I just got an inspiration right here in this live episode of the Main Event Talk. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and mess with my inspiration. Oh, and you know what else I'm going to be doing? Let me tell you what else I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to do this just for this one time. Guys, while I'm done with WWE Evolution, and also done with they're going to do a special on a Halloween version with the Hardy Boys, and I think it's going to have Matt Hardy. And the whole Hardy Party Halloween that's going to take place only on the WWE Network immediately after WWE Evolution. And after all that's done, after all that's taken place, the main event is going to be having a little fun. I'm going to be doing some work. Besides my main event talk and besides all my other things, I think I'm going to be playing around, so to speak. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be playing around a whole lot. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be digging it a whole lot more and everything. And holy crap. I didn't think I would ever get this, but I'm so glad I got it. And if you guys want to know where to get this fine looking box, all you got to do is go over to Walmart and you can get your hands on the NSC Classic Edition. Get your hands on this and all the games. Well, there's only 30 games involved, although I wish there were more than 30 games in this one. Get your hands on this, check it out. You'll love it. This is old school for the main event right here. You can have your PlayStations, you can have your Xboxes, you can have whatever you want. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to take this home. I'm going to be playing this throughout the entire night and everything else like that. And also, they also have the Super Nintendo one over there as well at Walmart. So, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go ahead and work on some stuff and get ready for WWE Evolution. Hope you guys get an opportunity to check it out. Comment on this video. Comment on everything that you can. Hopefully next time I'll do another Main Event Talk live when I have the opportunity. It's going to be tremendous. I cannot wait. WWE Evolution is tonight. It's Women's Day Evolution happening on the WWE Network tonight. So get ready. I'm a little bit excited, but I'm also, So thank you for watching this episode of the Main Event Talk. Take it easy. Goodbye. And if I don't get an opportunity to do it, I'll just say it right here. Why? Because I can, and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. And what do I mean to say? Guys, happy Halloween and Evolution tonight. It's all about the women of WWE, and it's all about the women in general. Please enjoy it, guys. This will be, the women of WWE taking over the entire Evolution pay-per-view. Should be great. And like I said, I'm hoping we get a lot of surprises. WWE, don't let us down. WWE, pull it off. WWE, evolve, please.